Teaching. Hello and welcome to Penning Perspectives. I'm Grace.
I'm Angel.
And I'm Allie. And for our first podcast, we're going to be talking about writing across the curriculum, which is the central topic of the course that we're actually all creating this podcast for.
So, what even is writing across the curriculum?
So, writing across the curriculum, which we commonly refer to as WAC, is a relatively new idea. So, it was, I think, created around the 70s, 80s, maybe even the 90s, that focuses on the idea that writing should be implemented across all disciplines. So not just being isolated to English and the humanities, so think like math and science as well. So it moves away from the idea that there's only one correct way of writing. There's different disciplines, and in those disciplines they have their own genres and styles of writing. And so WAC emphasizes that writing should be taught within the context of specific courses.
How does a writing center fit into that? How does a writing center exemplify WAC?
Well, I feel like especially for our writing center that, with writing across the curriculum, focusing on the different disciplines, each discipline has its own specific conventions, and there's a specific way that people in each discipline need to write. So I feel like having a space where people can come and get help for just communication-based projects in general kind of helps, work on that, and it works from certain philosophies too. Like the first reading that we did for the class was about writing as a process instead of a product. And if we think about how each discipline writes differently, then I feel like that really sort of works off of that idea that it's not necessarily about the end result, it's sort of how you get to it, and that's different for any project that you're doing. So,
is the writing center here at EKU considered a WAC writing center?
No, so the Noel Studio for Academic Creativity, it's actually not considered a WAC studio because we don't have enough stakeholders from different disciplines involved with this studio.
Do we know why that is?
No.
I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like if there's probably a lot more that could be done to open the floor up. I think EKU definitely has a long way to go in terms of implementing writing across the curriculum, but I think one of the things that could really help would be like more open discourse about it and seeing if we can get other faculty from disciplines outside of English and the humanities to jump on board and kind of at least get some exposure to what some of the philosophies are and how they can use some of our services here at our writing center to help their students and help them in their projects.
Yeah, I will say that all disciplines are welcomed here at the studio. Everyone's encouraged to come in and get help. We focus on communication and rhetoric and writing-related projects and assignments. So even though we're not a WAC center, we're pretty involved with other courses.
Yeah, but I feel like oftentimes we find that professors and things worry, especially from like other disciplines that are outside of the arts and humanities, they worry about sending their students to us because what do any of us English majors or whatever majors really know about a biology project or a chemistry project? So why don't they just house like writing centers for their own disciplines? Why do we need like a writing across the curriculum center?
Well, I feel like that's not necessarily, like for us in our training, for example, and we'll get into this in another podcast probably, but we're not expected to know the content because we're not even expected to necessarily know the English content. We're not a content-based service, we're a communication-based service. So we're supposed to help people determine the best way to deliver a message, not necessarily break down the content that is in the message.
Yeah, I would agree. We're here at the Noel Studio, we're focused on the process, we're focused on rhetoric, and we're focused on, critical thinking.
Right. So that really gets into what we talk about with writing as a process and not a product. Like, it's about being able to get your thoughts about, like, across really clearly and not necessarily about what the thoughts are. And we don't even do that for our own English majors. Like, I don't know if you're right or not, but I can tell you if you are clearly stating your opinion, your argument, your voice. and if that is coming across in the way that you're wanting it to.
I think a lot of it comes down to the idea of transfer, because you have a lot of people, maybe we don't have as many people from the other disciplines that we would like, but we definitely have a lot of students from all the other disciplines, and it's sometimes they have, insecurities about being able to write and being able to communicate, their content clearly. But if you can kind of explain things to them in terms that they understand, then it kind of helps facilitate that idea. That's what facilitates transfer, is getting them to understand how to communicate something within specific terms that they're already familiar with.
So the studio here already exemplifies some of these WAC ideas.
Yeah.
I think we definitely still have a long way to go, but if there was more, open discourse about this is always a good thing, but also, more utilization of the services like the Knoll Studio, or even a better understanding of like what we offer, which is, while we're pursuing this whole project that we're doing. But I think we still have a long way to go, but we're definitely making progress.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Do we have any more to say about what WAC really is?
Well, I think we covered it.
All right, well then, welcome to our first episode, and we hope to see you in the next one.